Last year we reviewed the Leica M10 digital rangefinder body, which is a very, very cool camera, and today we are taking you back in time and looking at this 4-year-old M-P Typ 240, which I think is actually the most advanced Leica digital camera ever. So this is the long-term review of the Leica M-P Typ 240 digital Leica M rangefinder camera. It's quite a mouthful, to be honest, the name, and which I purchased 4 years ago and spent 2 full solid years, day in, day out, taking every professional job I have received with this particular camera. So I have spent a lot of time with it, and why would I say this is the most advanced digital M ever, even though they now have the latest M10 and M10P series camera? And because when this camera came out, it really changed everything that Leica did today with their digital cameras. So this is a revolutionary camera when it came out, and there are a few advanced things that they did which they didn't do before. First of all, this is the first digital M that employ CMOS sensors, which is what basically everybody uses these days, and also it's the first also have featured 24 megapixel, which now they employ for all their full frame cameras, including the Leica Q, the Leica SL, of course the Leica M10 series. So this is really the first of a lot of things, and they also keeping it as well. So this is actually pretty awesome in that respect. And also don't forget, one of the features that nobody talks about is the video. And this thing does shoot 1080p videos, and although that feature has been removed from from the latest M10 series cameras, but I personally think there are a lot of things you can actually do with this, even though the video capabilities is a little bit flawed. But I actually personally think it's quite cool, although it's more for a proper setup shot, simply because it hasn't got any image stabilization on the lens or the body, so you really pretty much restricted to a tripod or a gimbal. But other than that, it does shoot pretty decent video to my eyes. It's actually not too bad at all. A few more things I want to highlight about this particular camera against all the later camera is, first of all, is the big battery. This thing still holds the biggest battery you can get on the Leica camera, because it's quite a thick body, and compared to the M10, which is a slimmer lighter body, and also has a much smaller battery now as well. And this thing does have a really impressive battery life. I mean, I have used this on a full day wedding, which I only managed to do 2.5 batteries, and I'm taking like 3,000 shots minimum, and this is really good. I mean, I love the battery life on these things. And on another note is that on the accessory port, funny enough, this accessory port was based on the same technology as the Olympus camera. So like whatever you can connect to the EM5 Mark 1 and the EM1 Mark 1 camera, like the EVF, the audio input and the macro light, you can attach to this as well, which is actually pretty awesome. Although they have the Leica branded version as well, which you can of course stick to it. And then one more thing is the bottom plate, and this you can remove it and attach to a multi-functional vertical grip, which is actually pretty awesome. That grip is quite a bulky thing, but it does allow you to do a few things. First of all, you can attach another flash sync into it, and also has a direct USB port, so you don't have to take out the SD card, put it in the card reader. You can actually directly access that camera on itself. And it has a built-in GPS unit, so you can actually track your geotag your photos wherever you go. Although having that function on, it will drain your battery a little bit, but other than that, it's actually pretty nice. Now let's talk build quality, but should I say anything about Leica build quality? Probably not, but let's put one single thing I love about this camera, and I still do over any of the current cameras at the moment, is that this camera still uses brass as a material for top and bottom plate, which if you're a Leica fan, a Leica purist and a Leica affectionate, you know that brass is an important material throughout the entire history, because the original M was built with brass. So it's all the subsequent cameras, apart from the famous M6 original, which they have magnesium alloy. But that same material is now being used on the M10 series camera as well. So you lost that brass. And why brass is so important? Well, first, it's got this unique feel to it, and of course, over time, if you are a shooter, you will love this brassing showing on the bottom of the camera, on the top of the camera, on the corners, and everything that's being rubbed on frequently. You're starting to show this really lovely and gorgeous gold color seeping through the black paint and the silver. It just looks awesome. To me, I think that what makes Leica cameras unique as well, because it wears well over time, and also it becomes a more personal item compared to the more modern one, which is made from magnesium. When you rub off the paint, it becomes silver. It's kind of, I don't know, I still prefer the gold color brass material. It certainly also definitely feel different. So build quality is nice, but I prefer this is still the nicest material you can get on the Leica camera. Okay, handling is a very interesting point, because you guys, if you've seen our M10 review, you probably see that how much I love the newer, slimmer bodies, because I have a relatively small hand, so it fits me well in the M10 body. But the M240 bodies isn't that bad either, because even though it's slightly thicker and slightly heavier, but it works well, especially if you got bigger hands. But that's one more thing that you probably haven't thought about, is that a slightly heavier and thicker body actually works particularly well with bigger lenses. And let's say if you have a Nocticron, for instance, or even like semi-luxes like these ones instead of a Summicron, you will find that this body actually balances better than the M10. Trust me. Like this one at the moment, if we could just demonstrate slightly, and then you can actually see that it balances really well with the Summilux, and it shows the actual weight itself is very, very different. If you put it on the M10, you'll find that they will go this slightly, because the lens is actually slightly heavy in the front. So because the newer body is lighter and also slimmer, means the central gravity is moving more towards the front than the back. But in this case, it works well. Brilliant.
What's wrong? 'Cause I've seen down.
Image quality, and well, this is going to be a debate, because I would say yes, the latest M10 has better image quality overall, simply because it has better dynamic range and higher ISO performances. But this thing is no slouch. I actually personally think it produces really, really awesome image quality. From base ISO all the way up to 1600, I think is actually very good. The only drawback I would say about this particular camera is this shadow area. Although it is a lot better compared to, let's say, the likes of Canon 5D Mark II and 3. I personally think it is actually better than the Mark II and Mark III 5D Canon. So it's actually very, very decent. There are still many, many professionals out there actually using those cameras, and so this is a very capable sensor here. But this is still a 4-year-old camera, and then sensor technology has moved on so much. So you can see, the latest camera will definitely have better overall image quality, especially if you use a lot of the higher ISO settings, and also push the dynamic range, like the shadow and highlight area. And then in those instances, yes, the newer camera would definitely be better. But this one, like any photographer, like I always said, make sure that you read the light properly, and if you do, this camera would definitely not disappoint you at all.
Hey, it's amazing, the subtle games that you are playing.
So here are my thoughts on the Leica M-P Typ 240 camera, and it's still, you know, I think it's the most advanced digital Leica M camera you can get today because of the features, because of the connectivity and expandability that this camera has, and because, you know, the later cameras now, they are more or less the stripped off version of this particular camera. I know it's got better sensors and things like that, but, you know, it's a very nice thing, and I think at the time Leica did something really extraordinary, because they trying to make the Leica M camera more modern and more relating to the today's digital photography world by introducing all those features, and I think it's pretty good. You know, it's got really exceptional image quality when you use, you know, their legendary Leica lenses, and one thing, you know, of this particular camera, the P version, which is professional stands for, is that it had the Gorilla Glass, not the Gorilla Glass, sorry, the Sapphire Glass back, which now they don't even have in the latest P version. I think a lot of the pros will be quite dearly miss this particular feature. I know the Gorilla Glass can be quite durable, and of course, you know, if the latest one using touchscreens now, which the Sapphire Glass do not actually compatible, but I personally think that the Sapphire Glass is adds just a little bit of luxury touches to it, especially when you're spending that sort of money on a Leica. You know, like, you want that Sapphire Glass back, to be honest. You know, I don't really care about the touch screen, to be honest, and then it's got a nice joysticks anyway, you know, you can use, and yeah, I would think so. So I stand by my words. I love this camera a lot, and I used it, like I said, professionally for 2 full years. It never let me down, and it's a well-built traditional Leica with modern touches. Yeah, let's put it that way. I like this camera. Hope you enjoyed the video you just saw, and don't forget to subscribe our channel for more, and put that bell button and notification on so you know when our new video is coming out. So until next time, 再见. Today we're gonna take you back in time. Okay, one more time. Today we are going to look at this, the M-P Typ 40. So this is the long-term review of this Leica M-P Typ 240 digital Leica rangefinder. Is the long name. Okay, 1, 2, 3. But the video feature definitely, I think, to me, is a standout feature. And also, come on, where are you freaking headphones? Oh man. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video you just saw, and don't remember to subscribe our channel.